we're talking about variable. So think variable as a container that can hold a certain value. First thing about it, so a variable can hold data. So data can either be an integer, a plot, a string, or any other uh, data structure, because Python has a lot of data structure. We can see that in our next sessions. So basically, when we say a variable, it means it's a container that can hold value. Do you understand? So this is what you call variables. So let me revise what I have told initial, very brief. So there is rules when naming a variables. Always use small letters for naming a variables. Don't use space when naming a variable. That's number one. And the variables can hold a lot of data structures. You can have a variable that can hold numbers, text, a list, or other complex objects. For example, like you can have a variable that can hold a dictionary, multiple dictionary in a certain variables. Yeah. So you need to understand this. So in reality, let's talk about variables. So let me give you a scenario that will help you to understand variables in real life. So a variable, just think about maybe you're organizing your kitchen. You can have a container, different containers in your kitchen. One you can label it with flour. You can put flour inside it. Another one with sugar. Another one with what? With eggs. So that this doesn't mean the one with flour will always contain flour. You can remove the flour and maybe put Maggi inside. So that means a variable can be changed. That's the meaning. That means you can update the value inside the variables. If you have maybe a variable's name, maybe A, which carries the value of 4, for example, you can remove 4 and make it 3. That means variable can change from container 3 to container 4. So make this, yeah, you need to understand this. Another thing is that you name the variables with letters. That's number one. Make the names of the variables be letters. Yeah. The two is that don't use space when naming the variables. Please don't use space, but you can use underscores. For example, maybe let me use let me define one. Maybe I'm defining maybe a variable called moisture content. So this is how you're supposed to name moisture content. Maybe for example 0.5, for example, maybe 0.3. Do you understand? So then use just moisture, then space, then content. No. When we have two names, make sure you make them one by using underscores. These underscores will help you to remove the spaces. Yeah. Then number two is that always you can use maybe a shorthand. For example, maybe you can shorten the name. Instead of using maybe moisture content, you can use maybe uh, maybe MC. Yeah. M and C, that means M for moisture, C is for content. Yeah, you can use this one, but make sure that it is descriptive. It means the name in the variable can give you an insight about what the variable is all about. Yeah, because sometimes when you're writing a very long programming language, so you have maybe yeah, maybe have when you're writing a very long coding, so you may have some problems. Yeah, not with the code, but maybe because you are overloaded, you can't recall what's the name is all about. So that's why it's very, very important to do that. Okay, so let's have another let's have uh let's have first message, you say. Let's have message. Let's give you yeah, let's assume you have this first message, which is hello world. Let's print it. Let's see. Sorry. Let's print. Oh my god, no, sorry. So you see, so the first message, which is this first name, this first message is our variable. So I use hello world. This hello world is letters. So whenever you're writing a letter inside in the programming language, make sure you use this quotes. You can use double quotes or single quotes. So this means these are letters. They are all letters. So when you're writing letters in a programming language, make sure you use double quotes. So I use print letters. So I want to print out this. So you see hello world. Like this one. This is message. We have hello Python world. So we print the message and this is so this means this print will print the what? Will print the value that this variable holds. Let me give you a very simple example so that you can understand. Okay, let's assume I have A, which is equals to 5. Yeah, let's assume I have A, which is equals to 5. So let me use print. So instead of this print, to print A, we'll print the value inside A. So you see, that's what, because here, instead of the print to print the first message, it print the content inside the first message, which is hello world. Okay, so this is all that. Okay, and that's what you call concatenation. Okay, I think I will talk about this one maybe later. Yeah, but I print this one. This is a moisture content, which has the value of 30, and I find the moisture content. We say the moisture content of this soil is. Then I print the content inside the moisture, the content inside the moisture content, which is 30. So you see the moisture content. Okay, let me. Sorry, it's not 30. It's supposed to be point 3. So you see, so the moisture content of the soil is 0.3. Okay, so whenever you are defining a variables, make sure you use small letters. Yeah, this is something I want to draw your attention to. The Python variables you are using at this point should be lowercase. Yeah, you need to understand this. So that's why I use this one as moisture content. But when you are writing, for example, a variable with uppercase, so it has a special meaning. That's the thing you need to understand this. Whenever you are defining what so whenever you are defining a variable, so make sure that there are small letters. But if they're in, for example, if they are all uppercase, that means you are defining something different. Yeah, when they're uppercase, it means the value is constant, it doesn't change. For example, the value of pi, this pi, let me give you another example, this pi. So when you see something like pi, like this, so this value of pi, 3.14159, this is constant value. Whenever you're using pi, this is constant value. So whenever you are defining a variable that can hold a constant value that doesn't change, so you can use capital letters. That's a rule. So make sure you know this. Okay. Yeah. So no, I don't want this one. Yeah, let me write them. Okay. I don't. No need to run this one. Yeah. Okay. So that's all about variables. Then let's look at what you call data types. So basically, we have three different data types. Not only this one, but there is a lot of this. But these are the basic one. Where we have a string, we have a plot, we have an integers. Of course, that what you call list, sets, dictionaries. So they're all data types. But today we are going to just talk about only these three. Yeah. So um, what is a string? So a string is a data type used to store text. Not only text, sometimes it can contain a number, symptoms, so symbols, spaces. So a string can also take numbers, letters. For example, like let me define something. Uh, let me ML. Okay, sorry. Um, let me say something that calls bell. Uh, let me say session. Okay, sorry. Session. Then I want to define this one as session. So I can call it, let me use this quotation. So I can use maybe ML for civil engineers. ML for civil engineers. So you see, so this is also a string. So even with this four, which is not a character, but whenever you have multiple letters, maybe a number with letters, so it's now become a string. So that's it. Okay. So a string can be, sorry, a string, yeah, can be written inside either double quotes or a single quote. Just like this one, I declare this session with double quotes, so I can also use another one with a single quote. For example, like here, I have this course which is civil engineering practice. I use double quotes, but I now define message, which is Python is very powerful using a single quote. So that means a string can be defined with either single or double quotes. These are very, very important. You need to understand this. Yeah. So this is that. Then we have what you call, so a data can either, this means a letter can be a letters, that is a string, or can be a number. So if a data is a number, then we have two probabilities. So the probability is what is 1/2, because it can either be an integer or a plot. So what is an integer? So what a plot is a plot. Let me start with a plot. So this is a plot, but in programming language, this is what you call a plot. F with a small letter, LOAT. What is a plot? So a plot are numbers with a decimal point. So any number that has a decimal point is what you call a plot. For example, like X here, which is 3.142, and we have another Y, which is minus 0.15. So any number with a decimal point is what you call a plot. So what is an integer? So an integer is what you call a whole number. So it's what you call a whole number without a decimal point, like 10, 2, 5, 8, -5, -3. These are what you call integers. Okay, so let's perform arithmetic in using Python. So look at it. For example, 3 plus 2 plus 3, of course, is 5. Yeah, so because Python is powerful calculator, you can do a lot of things with Python. Let me give you an example. Maybe we have 7 plus 10. So you can print it here. Oh, I have to start the kernel. I didn't start the kernel. Okay, no problem. Okay. Okay, so you can run this. Sorry, yeah, I don't need to wait for the kernel to start. Okay, instead of me to wait, let me use another way to run Python. So you can run this Python. This is what you call a Jupyter notebook, right? I think last session we discussed about what you call Jupyter notebook. So let us run this Python program inside the terminal. So to do that, let me write Python here. Python. Okay, yeah. So now I open Python. So I hope you are seeing my screen. Let me stop the screen. Okay. So let's have, maybe we have maybe 7 plus 8. 40 plus 10, right? Right. Let me say enter. So you see 7 plus 10 is what you call 17. So maybe I can declare a variable a, which is equals to maybe 8. I can have another variable, which is b, which is maybe 16. So I can ask for the sum of these two variables. I can have a plus b, sorry. So what is the value? So it gives me 22. So this is that. So, okay, let me adjust this one a little bit. Okay. So we can have a subtractions. So you can do subtractions also here. You can come here. Maybe we have maybe b. Okay. Let's say b minus a, because I have already declared the variables here. So let me say b minus a. So you see, which is 10. So I think we all know what is subtractions. So please, Bash, can you unmute yourself? You are talking. Bash, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay. Bash, can you unmute yourself? Okay. So now let's talk about what you call division. I know all of you know what is division. So division means one number is another divided with another number. So let's say we have here 3 with divided by 2. I think the answer will be 1.5. So this is that. So let's just round the value here. 3 divided by 2. Here we see the value is 1.5. So now, what is the difference between uh division and plot division? So the plot division means you can use a double uh, division sign. Let me give you an example here. You can have here, we have another one. We use a double sign here. So this is the plot division. This one, this double sign is equal to plot division. That means the Python program should ignore the decimal part. For example, 3 divided by 2. Like here we have 1.5, right? So, but in plot division, 3 divided by 2 will give you 1. The reason is that it will ignore or discard this fraction part, or we call it a decimal part. So this is what you call a plot division. This is very useful when maybe you are differentiating a number, maybe you are differentiating how can I call it even and odd numbers, right? Because odd numbers cannot be divided by 2, while and even numbers can be divided by 2. So this is where you can use these plot divisions. It helps you to do that. So now what we have seen here, uh, we use a single assigning operator, but we can use multiple assigning. For example, here, maybe I can define a variable here, maybe a and b. Maybe I wanted, instead of me to write a equals to 6, b equals to 16. Maybe I want to use, I want to define both a and b in a single line. So I can use a, then I use comma, then I say b. Then I can write the values with the respective commas. Here I have 2, then comma, then I have 3, then enter. So you see, so I now define this. So since a is 2 and b is 3, let me find the sum of the numbers. So I have a plus b. Let me see what does a plus b means. So you see the a plus b is 5. And let me say, what is 2 minus b? Okay, a minus b. A minus b. You see what the value? So you have a minus b is minus 1. So I can use, let us see what is the multiplication of these two numbers. So I can use a, so the multiplication use asterisk, not times in here. We use asterisk, that's star. That's what you call multiplying. So that means here is a times b. You see 2 times 3 will give you a 6. And we can have maybe an exponent. That means a number power another number. So if I want to find a power b, I can use the value of a here. So this double star means power. Then here we have b. But that means here we have a power b. So let's just run it. It's give you 6 because 2 power 3 will give you 6. 2 times 2 will give you 4 times another 2 will give you 8. There. So that's it. So let me see. So yeah, I think I have defined this one. That's what you call constant. So a constant, you can define constant using uppercase. So it is time for you to ask questions. We have finished for the presentation. Yeah. If you have any question, you can ask. It is time for you to ask your questions. If you have question, you can raise up your hand and ask your question. Please, anybody with question? Oga Aliu.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
I think
salam.
there is no question for now. And
Please.
maybe we go through using our computers.
Okay, for now you don't have any question, right?
Yeah, I think because everything is well explainable. And maybe until we get to our computer when we are trying to do the prompts, maybe we can find one or two questions. But how about others? I think they need to speak up too. Or are we not many? We can't hear you, sir. Like you are muted.
Sorry, are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen? Please, someone should unmute yourself and talk. Are you seeing my screen? Bash, are you seeing my screen? Okay. So please come to here. Make sure you copy this code here. Yeah, I want to show you how to clone repository. But since we are having a very terrible network, so I think maybe we should leave it to the next day. We're having a terrible internet. So any question, anybody with question? Let me come back to maybe we can talk about this one later. we don't have a very good internet, so I think we can talk about that one. So please, anybody with question?